Awesome. So you guys have gone through principles of fear, basis of fear. You've overcome poverty. That's so huge. Very, very few people ever overcome poverty. That's why a vast majority of the middle class are straight broke. They're poor because they don't overcome their fears of poverty. And that internal mindset shift alone traps them in a state of eternal poorness, internally and through their bank account. That's kind of sucks. Why people live paycheck to paycheck. That's why, as we talk about over in the general membership area, people buy a whole bunch of liabilities like homes, boats, stuff like that, and it just doesn't create real savings and retirements in their lives, which freaking sucks. So you guys are already ahead of the game. You're out there, you're crushing it, you got psychology down. You've overcome the fear of illness, overcome the fear of criticism. Now it's time to move on to the fear of love. So with that said, let's get into the most exciting part. Get over to the computer. Look at how you can use this to radically increase your sex transmutation. So, the fear of love. Alright, well, what's the fear of love? The original source of this inherent fear needs little description. It obviously grew out of ancient man's polygamous habit of stealing his fellow man's mate and taking liberties with her whenever he could. The fear of the loss of love of someone is the most painful of all the 6 basic fears. If you think about at a fundamental level, what's going to have the most immediate impact on you out of the fears that we've gone through, criticism, health, and then the fear of love versus death and old age. Like the fear of love, like instead of the fear of death, which is for most people very far away, the fear of love, like if you lose love, that has an immediate impact and that touches your life immediately. Ill health, that kind of takes time. Poverty, criticism, that kind of develops over time. But with love, it's like it can wreak havoc with the body and mind more than anything because it's in a very, very condensed period of time. So rather than taking like 5 months for you to become poor because you use up all of your emergency fund and you also can't get a job and you don't have any passive income, you don't have any asset income, you don't have the ability to deliver direct value to the marketplace, that takes a pretty sizable amount of time to spend all your money. Whereas with the loss of love, a loss of love can happen instantaneously. You know, you get cheated on or dumped or whatever. Even worse, you go through divorce. I mean, that's the decision to make that happen. And the mental shift is almost instantaneous often. And that really freaking sucks. One of the distinguishing symptoms of this fear is, of course, jealousy. Wow, that was a really great one. Jealousy. Being suspicious of friends and loved ones without any reasonable evidence. Now, please remember what we've talked about earlier with the process of autosuggestion. If you're always jealous and you're always suspicious that your spouse is cheating, and you say, "Why are you cheating? You cheating?" over and over and over to them, what do you think they're going to do? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think will be implanted in their subconscious? Subconscious, they're going to think, oh, I should cheat. He thinks I'm cheating. Oh, I should not be truthful, right? So this comes back to that idea that you need to have 100,000% complete and total confidence in yourself, and imagine yourself on such a high pedestal that you know wholeheartedly that the only way your spouse would leave you or cheat on you is if they were freaking crazy, because you're totally convinced that you're the best in the freaking world, and you just don't even give this fear a consideration. Because remember, if you fear something, put focus on it, you give it attention. And especially with jealousy, if you're constantly saying, you better not cheat with people, and you're always worrying about cheating, you're always jealous of other guys. Now it sucks, you know, it's a tough thing to do, but you just gotta lay your hands off and say, look, you know what? Trust the system, trust the game, trust the player. You know your principles, you know who you're with, and you gotta leave your spouse or whoever to go out there and freaking do themselves the time necessary. You know, you're at a party and you know everyone's going around mingling and you're having fun, you're talking business, talking with friends, whatever. Like, you gotta be cool letting the other people go, or your spouse do whatever. You can't be like over their shoulder for the whole thing and freaking out, and because that shows, what's that show? Shows clinginess, shows you're not confident. True man, right, who's totally convinced of their success, never has to worry about that. They don't care. That jealousy is not an emotion, because like Donald Trump's wife isn't gonna freaking leave him. Now, I might have just, you know, dated this episode, or maybe it caused karma for Donald Trump, I don't know. But fundamentally, it's this idea that, you know, if you're treating yourself like an A player, that's going to implant positive thoughts in your mind, and it's going to implant a sense of confidence between you and your spouse in your new relationship. And therefore, since that positivity comes into the subconscious mind, that positivity is going to manifest itself in the actions and thoughts of not just your mind, but the mind of your spouse, right? So the two are linked and interconnected using the power of vibrations through the ether. And if your mind is emoting positive confidence in your relationship and your growth together, then that's going to sync up with their mind and they're going to have that same thing. So if you can eliminate that fear, right, absolutely destroy the fear of jealousy, destroy the fear that this happens. Because if you fear this, then they're going to fear that too. And they're going to fulfill on it. And they're going to cheat so that they can fulfill that destiny that you've suggested with your thoughts in your mind. Even if it's just subconscious, it still leads to that manifested physical thought, that conscious thought. So cut it, get rid of it, get this crap out of your life. Never get into the habit of accusing your partner with infidelity without ground. Your symptoms of a general suspicion with everyone, anyone, but absolute faith in no one. It's a problem. Remember, you keep trying to find flaws. Those flaws are like little teeny tiny cracks in a window. And they could sit there and just be hairline crack, but if you focus on them and you keep pushing on them and you keep smudging them, it's gonna grow, right? If you have your window pane here, you have just this little crack, but all you do is focus on that crack and you keep pushing on it and pushing on it and pushing on it and saying, why are you a crack? Why are you insignificant? Why are you breaking my window? You just keep pushing on it. It's gonna explode. I'll give you a great example. I have this one neighbor, you know, he's doing BB guns and he's in his backyard. He's got like trees in his backyard and he's just running around having some fun with his BB gun, and he takes it and he like shoots a BB and it goes and it hits I'll just erase this so I can draw. So it hits our house and it hits our window, okay? And it hits the window, it makes a hole about the size of a BB since it was BB, and then it kind of like has just a little shatter outwards, and then there was just a little bit of piece of shatter that went all the way to the edge of the window. It was just like a crack right there. And then there was like just this BB sized hole. This hole was just the size of a BB. So what happened, right? This happened a while back. Well, we couldn't really just like change the glass because the glass kind of was like highlighted in some kind of film, and that film was like a reflective film for the sun or UV rays, stuff like that. So you can't just like change the glass, and we didn't really have a replacement window for it. So what did we do? We just left it and stopped worrying about it, stopped focusing on it. And all of a sudden, all the worries and all the insights that came from this just started to fade away and disappear, because attention was flowing elsewhere. Attention was going to other things in the world, and it was not towards this BB-sized hole. And so because of that, the crack never spread. The hole never manifested greater size. It just stayed there. It just stayed there for months and months and months and months and months, and then I left. So yeah, it's like, might have been a whole year, I think. You know, it never grew, even though like it probably should have. It didn't, because we didn't focus on it. Nobody focused on it. Nobody said that. No one worried about it, right? After we realized that it would be a real pain to fit, just didn't fret, and it stayed the way it was, and it stayed intact, and it looked pretty freaking normal. Again, it's about a BB-sized hole, not that big. It was a pretty obscure window. It wasn't like a big deal, and so it just kind of chilled and stayed there, which is cool, right? It's all about this concept of, if we sat there, we worried about it, and we stared at it all the time, we focused on it, we had attention that flowed towards it, it probably would have grown. It's the same thing with relationships. It's the same thing where maybe your partner, maybe you're working towards your overarching long-term goal, right? And to get to your overarching long-term goal, you're using the power of sex transmutation through your relationship to have massive levels of energy and to keep going and going and going on your plan to have huge levels of success. But maybe right now you're only about yay far on your plan. You're about a quarter through. And as you guys know, the biggest results come at the end of that plan. They come at the end of the growth. They come when you've gone all the way and delivered that maximum value and results to the marketplace. So about a quarter way through, great example of this, right? Jeff Bezos took him, like 20 years to make Amazon really big? His wife was with him for all 20 years. You think that's a surprise? You think that's something that, like, guys, I'm telling you, sex transmutation, so powerful. Jeff Bezos, do you think he could have started Amazon without the energies created from sex transmutation with his wife? I'm just saying, guys, it's not like he got a wife 10 years after he started Amazon. It was at the base. It was at the fundamental level. He needed that boost, that jump, that increase in energy that came from that relationship. So anyway, especially, if you're not married yet, or you haven't found the perfect person, but you're also really worried about the business, and you're working towards your goals. So you're busy, right? And you're about this quarter way through, actually you're having success, but maybe not massive success just yet, trying to scale up. Or maybe you're having a tough time, right? You're working through it to get to that goal, to overcome those obstacles. To the outside, you might not look like a really successful person, yeah, but on the inside, you know that you're going towards this long-term goal and you're going to be insanely successful. So what you want to convey with your confidence, what you want to convey with your relationships, and what you want to convey with your individual spirit is the mentality of somebody who's freaking crushing it and making it and killing it. You gotta fake it until you make it. And when you do that, you're gonna have such a high level of confidence, a high sense of alignment with your individual purpose in life, that all of a sudden you're gonna be much more attractive. You're never gonna have to worry about this idea that your spouse will leave you, because like, why would you leave the most exciting and purpose-driven person in her life, you know, or their life, you know, if you're a girl. People that are skeptical about finding faults about friends, business relatives, or business associates, relatives, loved ones, on the slightest provocation without any cause whatsoever, those are the ones who create problems. Those are the ones that lead to pain, issues, suffering. It all stems from this thing, this ability to draw problems out of thin air by manifesting them through the power of thought, and then the power of thought turns into a reality. If I keep worrying over and over and over that, you know, right now I'm worried, I'm doing all these videos, and it's a whole lot of data, and so I've got like 400, 500 gigabytes just of like my face being recorded, and then I gotta, you know, synchronize those to like the computer, right, with the video. And I have it all on this one hard drive, because as of right now, I'm just so focused on this that I have like one drive on my computer that has enough space to hold all this data from these videos, and it's getting really, really close to being full, because I'm doing a whole bunch of YouTube stuff too. So this idea that like, I know I need more space, more data, and new hard drive, stuff like that, but I'm so focused and aligned on this one thing that like, I'm not letting my attention flow away from it, because I want to go 100% for you guys. And so if I have this slight worry, right, that this old hard drive I'm putting all the stuff on will like crash and explode, and all the data will be gone, right? And I'll be like freaking out, and I'll be like, what do I do? And it's this like back of my mind fear. And the thing is, I don't get rid of that fear, it's just gonna validate and turn it more into reality. I have to expunge that from my mind. And for me to do that, tough. I tried earlier, I tried the strategy, you know, take it in and throw it out. Because look, it's all mental. It's all mental. This fear is completely mental. The idea that this hard drive crashed in the next, you know, couple of weeks, for no reason other than me putting important things on it. That's totally mental. And so to overcome that, you gotta focus on the positives, focus on the happiness, focus on the growth. So for me, you know, I'm looking at this folder on my computer, and it's got like hundreds of video files, and it's just like me talking and going through this course. And so what I would focus on instead is like, wow, I'm so grateful for that. I'm so happy about that. That's really, really awesome. Look at all this amazing work that's been done. And when you focus on the positivity, when you focus on the growth, now you're grateful. Remember, like we talked about earlier, you can't have positive emotions and negative emotions at the same time. You can't be fearful and grateful at the same time. So as I'm grateful for what's occurred, and I'm grateful for my surroundings, and I'm grateful for the achievements I've made, and I'm looking at what's been done rather than what needs to be done, that's going to change my state of mind. That's going to increase the vibrations and the happiness of my thoughts, and turn the results I create in the marketplace similarly to a higher, happier, and more wholesome level of connection, growth, and development with everything I do. Does that make sense? Does that sound awesome? So please, 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 take this, apply it, go out there, just expunge this fear of anything you have from your life, and even fundamentally the fear of life, which is what we'll get into the next module with death and old age. This idea that you're in control, you have the power. If something's really bothering you, like, share it and say, this is what I'm so scared of, and this is the worst case scenario. And then all of a sudden, worst case scenario is not that bad. People live on 99 cents a day. You got it pretty well with the problems you're dealing with. You can go out there and absolutely crush it, having the biggest impact possible and getting the most value, most money by following that path to achieve your overarching long-term goal. Okay? Sound awesome? Sounds sweet? Hope you guys got a ton of value from this. Go out there, absolutely crush it. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next module. Thank you.